Hello, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon Live. Because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
My kids empowered me to get out.
What's going on with this remote learning and in the midst of COVID?
Working for different elected officials, learning and understanding how to put the community first.
Hello, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hello there, Dr. Vanessa. How you doing?
Hey, Shannon. I'm good. I'm really good.
Good. We're talking about a real hot topic tonight of sibling rivalry. I don't know if you have had it, but I used to fight my brother and stuff, you know. I always felt like my mother liked him better than she did me.
Well, I'm the youngest, so they so far ahead of me, so I was like an only child.
Well, you know, I always felt it was this mother-son thing. These mothers think the sons, they don't do any wrong. They can do whatever they want, and they don't get hollered at or anything, but the girls always got hollered at. My brother wouldn't do certain things and stuff like that, and she'd talk about it behind his back. And as soon as he walked through the door, oh, there go my boy, how you doing? And I'm like, now what's wrong with this picture? You were just talking about it behind his back, but that's the kind of stuff that she would do. But so I always say the mothers with these sons, but nevertheless, I mean, we know of siblings who really have a bad relationship with each other, and I have a couple of them myself. So that's how we came up with the topic, because they're grown and we're still having this sibling rivalry at this late age in life. So we brought on a special guest tonight. We're bringing on a special guest tonight to talk about that. So we would like you to introduce her.
Actually, so I'm so excited about tonight getting things straight. Absolutely, our special guest tonight is Miss Valerie Montoute. She has been in the field of behavioral sciences for over 20 years, and her passion has grown from personal to professional experience. She has a daughter diagnosed with autism, which fuels her need to understand beyond the doctors and other health practitioners know as it affects on the African American community. She is also a marriage and family therapist with a specialty in behavior management, trauma, sex education, sex trauma, and holistic therapy. And she also has a podcast known as podcast. She has a podcast show called Love, Sex, Relationship. Let's welcome Miss Valerie to the show.
Hey.
Hello, Miss Valerie.
Hi, it's Lottie.
Did we say we got a podcast on sex, love, and relationship? Okay, we got to come back and do that show. We know about that one now. That's another show we're coming back to do. Okay. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. You know, I was thinking about this because, you know, I know people, two sisters, you know, they are in sibling rivalry. It's been going on for years and years. And I'm just like, when is this going to end? And when did this end with your siblings? Because at some point, there should be some ending here, because how can you continue to go to your grave and still fighting? And it's like, what causes this and what brings this on? Because they act like what, I can't even get it out, because I'm just stunned that two people would take something to this limit.
Well, a lot of that comes from like parenting style, right? How the parents parent the children. Most of the time, what we don't pay most attention to is when parents sort of put one child against another. Oh, well, you know, your brother, he always listens to his mother. He pays attention to his mother. He loves his mother, as compared to, you know, the other sibling. And they'll say, see how she is when I try to tell her something, unlike her brother. So over time, when that continues to happen, it becomes a problem over and over again. And it sends messages, subconscious messages that stick inside the child's head that they're less than, because the parent is not focusing on their individuality, their better qualities. They just focus on the bad part. And then the child feels like, oh, I'm not good enough. And they carry that. And it carries over to our relationships as we get older, our interactions. Most of us may not even think about it, right? Because you're just so used to, oh, that's how my mother is. She always loved my brother, right? But it really does affect some people. And some people is very extreme. That's why you see them fighting, but all the way up to 60, 70 years old. And you're like, I don't understand. Y'all
That's
make
my point.
everything.
That's my point. How you 60 something years old and still fighting with each other over materialistic stuff? That's what I say.
Well, it
Because
may be materialistic to you, but back then these little words and stuff mean a lot of things. And sometimes nowadays we have kids having kids, right? So they don't really know more than beyond of what they call raising a child. But maybe some of these parenting classes should have this behavior component in terms of words matter, right? Words matter, your action matter, your tone matter, your demeanor matter, and these things. And sometimes this will help growing families, even if it's whether it's a single household or two-parent household. These things, everything you do, kids mimic parents. And, they mirror a lot of things that they do. They mirror a lot of their behaviors. And so some of the things, maybe this is something that we need to kind of promote, that need to be happening as they're going through the prenatal stage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right.
Right.
but
Yeah.
I can understand the point that you talking about, like when they showing favoritism over each other and the kids get jealous and stuff like that. But then also, like I'm talking about, even just the rivalry with each other, because maybe you were supposed to have something together and whatever, and it wasn't shared the way you think it should have been shared or whatever, and you harboring this stuff all your life into your adulthood, into your senior citizen adulthood. Like what? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, maybe it doesn't make any sense to me, because it doesn't make any sense to me that you would carry, because it's almost like carrying a grudge. That's what it's like to me. You're carrying a grudge. How long can you carry a grudge?
You can carry it forever if it's not, if your qualities are not acknowledged at some point in your life, especially by the parents who put you two against each other, right? Meaning that everybody needs to have their individual traits acknowledged, recognized, and praised to some point. You know, yes, maybe you didn't listen to your mom as well as your brother, but you were very helpful to her. You helped make, all the dinners, or you made sure that she got everything, reminded her what she needed. Acknowledging those positive traits about the other child is very important. And you can hold on to that, especially if it's never acknowledged, it's never recognized, and never pointed out. And everything is the focus of that sibling. So once someone acknowledges it, and and your qualities as an individual, because think about it, like even at work, people get upset when you're in the meeting and all they do is talk about that one person. What about the work you did, right? We get upset. Well, I did work. I stayed late. 5 weeks in a row. But they just keep talking about this one over here. It's the same thing. Not being acknowledged, not being recognized for your skills is a hurtful thing. It's very, very hurtful.
I understand what you're saying, Valerie, and stuff like that. But I think sometimes people takes it that they want to be recognized for everything. To me, sometimes when you are doing your work or whatever you're doing it, you are doing it because that's what you want to do or you love doing it or whatever. So even if you didn't get recognized, you mean to tell me you would really get that upset about it and want to hold it against the person or whatever? Because you're going to get rewarded for what you do regardless. You're going to get rewarded. That's for sure. So, but for you to harbor on it, to me, just puts more stress on you.
But Lottie, if you're looking at the situation, people at work, okay, that may have promotional benefits, right? That may have bonuses, incentives, and of course, people gonna have this alienation about what's really going on. I've done X, Y, and Z. I have evaluation that speaks for my work speaks for itself. So what about those instances where it says, yes, you know your worth in terms of what you're doing at work, and you know how you value your work and what you put in it. But what about those things that have incentives or benefits that come with the work experience?
Because your day is gonna come. Your day is gonna come.
See,
You know,
people
but,
don't
but that's
think.
what I'm saying. So stop being about getting so much recognition because your day is going to come. I mean, when I remember when I was working and people when 5 o'clock come at 5 to 5 they be lining up waiting to clock out at the clock, right? I never did that. I would make sure all my work is finished before I got ready to leave and stuff. So people would say to me, "Oh, you always sitting there doing all the work and all this kind of stuff. They don't care about you. They don't care about that." It wasn't about what they care. I had mine already set what I wanted. I was manifesting already what I was going to do. So I didn't care like where the boss gave me all that recognition because I already had my plan. I wasn't going to be with that boss all the time anyway. I'm working to get to the next level. That's what I would be working for. That's what I'm saying. It's sometimes you take the recognition a little too far. That's what I say.
Well, I don't mean in all instances that's all people should be focused on, but I'm just saying some people have to understand what their net worth is in terms of doing the work and the quality of what they're doing. They can fall back, but they have to believe that.
Yeah, but you also got to believe in yourself as well. Exactly. Just like with two siblings fighting all the time. What are you fighting with the sibling all the time for? And you grown when you should be concentrating on building your life yourself, not get hung up on fighting with your sibling all the time.
But how can you build something if you don't know what you're building on? If you were never told from a little girl or little boy that you are valued, that you do have good skills, especially from someone who loves you, right? Not your boss or your whoever, your friends, but your parents. That's the most important relationship. So if your mom or your dad is not acknowledging, or someone very close to you that means a lot to you is not acknowledging your skills, your talents, and reminding you of that, or letting you know, hey, you did a good job, then how can you build when you get older? Not everyone has that tenacity. Not everybody has that strength to do that. You need to know. Sometimes you need to hear it, right? Not everybody.
Yeah, you need to hear it, and I understand what you said and where you're coming from and everything. But sometimes we always don't get it, everything from our parents and stuff. The ones that's fortunate enough to have their parents, but some of us lose our parents at early ages, so you don't get everything from the parent. But what I'm saying is, going up through life, you always meet someone who can tell you stuff, who can mentor you. Truthfully, my parents took care of me, fed me, clothed me, and all that. But as far as learning the knowledge and stuff, I learned that through people on the outside because they didn't go to finish school and go to college and stuff like that. So they really couldn't tell me all of that stuff, but they took care of me to make sure that I was able to make it through school and make it through school, college and all that kind of stuff. But most of my people was on the outside, mentors that I would meet and other people that I would talk to, even my own boss. Right. Would talk to me about stuff one day because I never forget him, tall, slinky, a man with white man with salt and pepper hair. I had was in the office. I was outside talking to the director, screaming at him and yelling at him because he had said something to me out of the way that I didn't appreciate. So I was yelling at him. My boss came to the door and yelled at me to get in the office. And when I got in the office, he sat me down and he says, "Is that how you want people to remember you? Out there yelling and cursing somebody out in the hallway?" Well, I was like 22. I was a little militant back then. I didn't care. And he told me, "This is not how you want people to see you. Do you plan on moving up?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, then that's not the way how you handle yourself and how to carry yourself." And he gave me a good talking to, and I carried that through. And I would remember if the temperature started to rise and that I had to, maintain my cool and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. You learn from other people sometimes.
Right. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be from your parents, but like I said, it has to be someone who means something to you or value. Like you have kids whose parents aren't in their life, or they could be in a social system, it could be in foster care, but they will always remember that one worker, that one person who took the time, even though that they were horrible to that worker. But that worker kept being consistent, telling them how great they were.
So what we're going to do is we're going to come back and be consistent, and you're going to tell us the rest of that. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. We're coming right back.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon. They say there are no excuses.
They say to just push harder.
They say to just go faster.
But when we're on the field, they don't know what's going on inside us.
How hard is too hard?
When do we get support?
When do we raise our hand and ask for help? We need each other.
Love. You're mine.
Hi, we're back. If you're just joining us, we're doing sibling rivalry, and we're talking to our therapist, Miss Valerie. As I was saying, Miss Valerie, before we went to break, I guess, see, I'm family oriented. That's how I am. That's how we was brought up. And I don't like fighting with family or my siblings or whatever. Like I said, sometimes, my brother would get on my nerves. I felt like, he was treated better than I was and everything, but not in that sense that I felt like I wasn't worthy of anything. You know what I'm saying? They always treat boys differently because boys could go out and stay late and come in late. He could go out and come back late, but I had to be home by a certain time. So you would be like, okay, well, how come he can stay out late and I can't stay out late? But my father said, you're not a boy, so you can't be out to 10 o'clock at night or whatever. You need to be home by the time the sun go down. You know what I'm saying? So it was that difference there. But I'm just saying, when I see family, particular siblings, sisters and brothers, arguing and fighting and not getting along with each other, it's very upsetting. It's very upsetting to me because I think your relationship with your family is most important. Now, when you don't deal with the family, it's because they have pushed you to the last limit and you just can't deal with them anymore. That part I understand, if that would happen, but not just to carry grudges against each other and stuff.
Right. Well, it's not always as simple as just like carrying a grudge, right? A lot of it is, like you said, family is very important to you. You see the value in family, but it's also like tone and behavior. You can tell a child, oh, well, he loves me. He loves his mother better than you love your mother, right? But that same sentence or those same words, if they're said like, well, you just stupid, you just, I can't stand you, and I know he loves me better. It's also the additional things that we don't know, right? That sometimes parents will say, whether they're good parents, bad parents, or people who are very close to that individual, they'll say these things to them that are very hurtful, right? Or let them know, add extra adjectives on whatever they're not doing. And when it comes in the family unit, like, it's also the tone of the family. Yeah, you understood that your brother got favoritism because he's a boy, he can hang out, but it was the tone that made the difference, right? Had they spoke to you in a negative or very derogatory or belittling manner, right, as if you were nothing, you wouldn't have that same opinion. It would be totally different, right? But you understood, oh, okay, it's different. We got to realize tone matters, right? The additional wording matters. All those things matter, and they make a big difference, big difference on how it affects us.
Absolutely. Sometimes there's a flip side to this as well, right? Mm-hmm. We got two rivalries because of the mother was the one in the middle. But what happens when you got one of the siblings is doing good, right? They're doing good, and you got the mother now. Oh, you're not gonna be nothing. Oh, you think you better than everyone. Oh, you're not gonna make it. And then now all this pressure in this what you thought was positive, and now it's being projected as negative. That causes conflict also with the rivalry with the siblings as well, because you're not like, okay, well, like, no matter what I do, I'm never going to be accepted. Everything's never going to be enough. So then how do you now combat those type of challenges and moving forward?
Well, those are even twice as hard. But a lot of times, sometimes you can have parents who are actually jealous of their child because they are going to a higher level than what they are. So that's when most of the time people who do experience like that, have experiences like that look to those that are outside of them. They look to a teacher, they look to like someone at their like school, a friend, someone else who will help keep them going. And they'll learn, they'll figure out that, you know what, that's their problem. That's my mom's problem or my dad's problem or whoever it is, you know. And also it's, you know, once again, important for the individual to keep positive thoughts for themselves and understand what they're seeing, because that can be hard for some parents to actually see their child going to levels they'll never understand, right? It's just like if you graduate school, you get a good job, and the friends you used to hang out with don't like you anymore. They start talking about you. They have something to say.
Right.
Right? Because you got, you know, you're a lawyer now, or you're a doctor, or whatever it is you decided to do, and they're still doing the same thing, or they're not trying to do anything else. That's where those problems come in, because jealousy is also a factor too. When we have parents that who are talking to their kids in a way that is demeaning, a lot of times that's a reflection on the individual and the parent, where they wish.
What you mean? Something that you think might have happened to them in their childhood?
Right. Or even just be, parents can be jealous of their children. Like, let's be clear. Like, you know, you see, you know, sometimes a mother may be jealous of her daughter. The daughter has more like opportunity. She's going to school, you know, maybe she married someone better, right? Now, or maybe she's married, period. You know, and she has all these doors open to her that her mother feels that she never had. No one valued her enough or something like that. So now she may take.
Oh, please. I try to help mine get somebody that got some money or something so they can help take care of me as well as take care of her.
No, but the thing is also in circumstances like that, if that child needed something from the parent, they'll find every reason not to help, because they want their child to fail. They want their child to be needy and will be dependent on them. And that's another issue that a lot of some individuals, especially young women and men growing up, may need. So sometimes when you need that parent, when you're doing good, you may need them once in a blue moon and they'll still turn it back.
Right. But remember, it's also a matter, can that parent or can that individual.
Yeah, I mean, with the realm that they can help, even if just to get
But they not even can help, but can they handle understanding to the level that that their child is on? Because sometimes it's, I don't understand that. Like, and people are afraid of success, not because they can't achieve it, but maybe they don't understand what it takes. Meaning, you know, if you decide to be a judge, you can't be partying on the corner, hanging out and drinking every single week. You can't do that. That's not your path. But your parents may know that. They may know that everybody, you know, playing, gambling, drinking, whatever they're doing. You can't have that if you're trying to be a judge, a lawyer, or something like that. Right? It's a totally different thing.
Well, I mean, I guess they figure they could party in the evening and they on the bench in the daytime. So
no, there's certain places you can't find yourself when things happen. But things happen, you lose everything overnight. You gotta you gotta do a backdrop and say, listen, I love y'all to death with the pieces, but I just can't be in the same spaces.
Exactly.
You know. And I mean that's what it, but the caveat of this conversation is that, you know, people don't understand, like what you mentioned earlier, is that the tone, the space, this carries people, this traumatic events that people go through, they don't see that it's a traumatic event. They don't think to resort to therapy, because most of the Black and brown community, they don't really go to therapists for things. Sometimes people may think they're gonna outgrow these things that go on things, or they'll get over it, and things like that. And you know, we don't focus on self-care like yesterday, which is as much as important today that we focus on self-care. So can you just kind of explain why self-care is important, how people should kind of like focus on their self-worth, especially when you have a lot of negativity gravitating around them?
Well, self-care is extremely important as compared to where it was prior. And our family and our mothers and mothers' mothers is because we didn't have this, they didn't have the same outlets of messages that are sent to them that we have now. We have social media, You have commercials.
What kind of apps?
You have everything that can point out your flaw, right?
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, there's not a flaw that does not show up in some form of media, whether it's newspaper, whoever uses the newspaper, but it's even in the newspaper, right? But it's on these things, on these devices, and these devices are like the lighting, everything affects the psyche, your mind. So it's times that you have to break away. Like even when I talk to clients and they have issues, I say, why don't you take a break from what? The phone? I said, yeah, I don't want you to use the phone for at least five whole hours. Are you serious? I'm like, yeah, 5 whole hours. And
well,
then
I'm glad you said that, Valerie, because the thing about that social media. No, I'm telling you, I know of a case with the mother and the daughter, and the mother had said something about the daughter when she had the baby, like, she wasn't taking care of the child like she should, blah blah blah, and the daughter clapped back on to the mother. This is on Facebook now. They going back and forth, and so the mother says, "Oh, well, y'all have to forgive her because she have mental illness." And then people on Facebook started sending messages about what she needs to do, how she could get help, where she need to go get help at, because she said the
See,
this is what I'm saying.
Right? You got people that don't know you, but they can give you all the advice.
Exactly.
But one advice I would say to people, just like we schedule appointments for our doctors, meetings, your carpet, schedule an appointment for yourself during the day.
Exactly.
Even if it's 5-10 minutes for cases, just that me time, quiet time, rather it could be reading, music, some vibration, something.
Yeah, but don't talk to me between 12 and 2. Because I'm looking at my stories.
That's not therapy.
That's not therapy.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a regular stream of media. But the new media, which is like social media, how we get all this information in an instant, like in less than a 5-second period, and those can be positive and negative, but sometimes it can be very negative and harmful, right? That's why, like cyberbullying is so horrible, where you have children who actually killed themselves by what was said on a phone, right? But the speed of life that it traveled in that particular school, in that child's life, they couldn't cope with it. They couldn't deal with the humiliation, and they unalive themselves behind it. So that's why I'm saying, yes, to me, self-care is taking some time and don't talk on that cell phone. Put it in the corner, turn it off. I won't tell you to do 5 hours. I'll tell you to start with 30 minutes to see if you can handle 30 minutes.
Tolerance and discipline, right?
Exactly.
Well, we gotta wrap it up and say goodbye. But I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for coming on and talking to us tonight, and just to say to siblings who may be watching, if not, siblings that's arguing with each other and can't get along with each other, is have a conversation with them and see if we can get it right, because we too old for this now, and there's too much going on in the world that we do not need to be fighting with each other as family members. So let's get it together. If you need to go get therapy, you go get therapy, so you can get this thing straight now. So I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Remember, you can watch us on Saturdays at 5:30 on Brick Art Media and Manhattan Neighborhood Network at 2:30. So, and you can catch us here every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Today's show is sponsored by Abu's Bakery. If you have a sweet tooth, stop by Abu's Bakery for some delicious cakes and pies.
Would you like beautiful pictures for your home or your office? Then stop by Faith Art Gallery. They have a large selection of pictures from around the world.
It's Shannon.